So now we are going to move to the third point on our agenda, feedback. When providing feedback, team members want to know what they are doing well and how they can improve. Giving your team feedback is a way you can show them that you respect and trust them and you want them to succeed. Failing to provide your team with feedback could give the impression that you do not care about their development. Remember, the most effective feedback is frequent, clear, specific, and timely. As a leader, you gain the most respect from your team by recognizing and providing both recognition and constructive guidance, remembering that feedback is different than criticism. When providing feedback, you always want to put your emotions aside and deal with the facts. Never blame or embarrass a team member. When you stick to the facts, you want to also get their buy-in and move forward. Feedback is meant for everyone, including top performers. Granting team members who are performing at continuous and sustained levels more autonomy is a reward for their success. And trust me, your highest performers will appreciate that. You also want to be willing and open to receive feedback on how you can be a better coach. It starts with asking the questions of how was this for you? And share with me what I can be doing differently as your leader. Now let's turn our attention to possible negative reactions to feedback. It's important for us to understand why negative reactions to feedback even exist. We're going to start by looking at the common feedback pitfalls. So to begin, not trusting your people, giving feedback that isn't consistent. Maybe you provide feedback that's late, making the feedback personal, or being insensitive to how you deliver that feedback. Now let's turn our attention to some coaching tips for how you can address negative reactions to feedback and how you can get ahead of it. First, you want to focus on one specific behavior that you consider to be poor performance. Focus on the behavior that is unsatisfactory, not the person. It's always about blaming the behavior or the process, not the person. You're not trying to fix them. You're just trying to work through this performance gap. You want to provide the employee with some feedback on some of the things they could be doing differently to achieve greater success. Describe the benefits of the new desired behavior and your support for the employee to demonstrate it. Use specific examples. Remember, you must be open to your team member challenging your feedback or your examples. So first-hand examples work the best. Listen carefully and be open to the employee's perspective without judgment. Remember, their perspective matters too. Involve the team member in identifying how they can achieve the new and desired state. Set a timeline for a follow-up discussion. And of course, watch and praise demonstration of the new desired behavior. There's nothing worse than your manager giving you feedback of how you need to make adjustments. And then when you make those adjustments, they don't acknowledge the adjustments. Let's spend a few minutes going over a feedback exercise. We have discussed at length how important it is that your feedback be specific, significant, timely, and all of those things. So in front of you, you see 5 different statements that a leader might provide their employee with. I want for you to identify if that statement is considered specific or if it's considered vague. And then, if it's considered vague, spend some time redesigning how you would make that statement in order to provide your team member with specific feedback. The first one, you are poorly organized. Is that specific or is that vague? The second one, you need to be more productive. Is that specific or is that vague? Your tone of voice comes across rudely. Is that specific feedback or is that vague feedback? You are learning your job really fast. Specific or vague? Sandra gave you some major kudos in today's meeting. Specific or vague? If you've been paying attention, all of those examples are vague. So spend some time on your own redrafting the statements to make them specific. And if you have some time, I would also encourage you to figure out how you would deliver that feedback to the 4 different styles we talked about earlier today. Because remember, how you provide feedback to reluctant learners may be different than how you would provide feedback to high performers.